Hello, movie fans. This is the Rambling Cinephiles, here with another ramble about The Commuter. My name is Josh.
I'm Jenny.
And we're here to talk to you about The Commuter, the new film from Liam Neeson and company. I'm honestly not sure what the name of the director is, but I know that he directed Non-Stop.
Oh, okay.
With Denzel,
another train movie,
and Chris Pine. Yeah, and that's something that's pretty funny to me, that this movie was just, it did everything that Non-Stop did, but a little bit worse.
Oh, I never saw Non-Stop, so I can't compare them.
Okay.
Spoiler warning, of course, as always, for the whole movie.
Yes, please go see the movie before you actually listen to us.
Or use this to decide whether you want to watch it.
Yes, that's true.
If you don't care about spoilers, I guess.
Or if you just want to listen to idiots talk about movies, I guess.
That's probably why you're here.
Okay, Jenny, do you want to give us a rundown of the plot for The Commuter?
Sure. Okay, so Liam Neeson plays this guy named Michael. And he's 60 years old. He's an ex-cop / life insurance salesman, which is an interesting resume. Whatever. Just go with it. So, the movie says they're middle class. That house was not middle class.
Yeah, that was definitely upper middle class.
So I'm gonna assume that they were some of the people who got one of the houses that they couldn't afford before the bust and were just lucky enough to hold on to it.
Maybe.
That's gonna be my assumption. Anyway, they've got some economic anxiety going on. They have 2 mortgages. They're about to send their kid to college. And yeah, so Liam Neeson is a commuter. Get it? He's a commuter. He takes the train to work every day to the life insurance place, and he gets there today and he gets fired. And so he gets back on the train, and Vera Farmiga shows up and is like, "Hey, let's play a game. Do you want to find a random person on the train and tell me who they are? You get $100,000, and $100,000 is in the bathroom." Well, okay, a quarter of it's in the bathroom, but you get $100,000. Bye, and then she leaves. And so he's like, that sounds weird, but now he's desperate for money, so he just goes to check out the bathroom, just to see. Lo and behold, there's a bag of 25 grand in it. And he's like, well, that's weird. And he just kind of decides to take it like I would.
I mean, that was one of the decisions that I think was the most believable in the movie. Liam Neeson snatches that thing up like it was his daughter.
He was just like, all right, bye. I'm getting off the train. But he doesn't get off the train. He gets stopped. Basically, what it is that there's a witness to a murder on the train, and he has to figure out who the witness was so that the agent of whatever organization that this is can kill the witness. So he has to narrow down the passengers on the train and figure out who the witness is. We don't know anything about them other than the fact that they have a bag, which I thought was really useless information, and that they go by Prin. And yeah, how specific, do we want to ease into the...
Yeah, let's ease into it for once.
So that's the gist. That's what's happening.
The movie is basically divided into 4 parts, I think. There's the setup where Liam Neeson's, shown living his life, getting on the train, being a husband and getting fired. And there's the mystery where it's kind of like whodunit, or what's that game where you try to guess who the person is thinking of?
Guess who?
Guess who? Oh,
no.
That's so embarrassing. It's basically Guess Who on a train.
Oh wait, is that what you're thinking of? I was being an asshole.
No,
is that
that's what I was thinking of. God, you're such a jerk.
I'm sorry.
The second phase of the movie is basically Guess Who on a train. The third phase is the train crashing, right? And the fourth phase is hostage situation, basically. But let's talk about the beginning. One of the parts that I really enjoyed about the movie was the very beginning, where it's shown like he's just living his normal day life, and it's these like 4 or 5 or 6 or how many different scenes just spread out as he's living his life. So like we see him wake up like 4 times to the same alarm clock. We see him getting ready and getting dressed and talking to his son 4 or 5 different times. One right after the other. We see him being taken to the train by his wife, and they're talking, and they're, you know, sometimes they're fighting, sometimes they're getting along, sometimes they're you know, just laughing, or sometimes they're just boring. And it was that part was the most truthful I think this movie was in its entirety. Like that felt the realest to me in the movie, and it's something that I think they did very well.
Yeah, I did like that. I also thought, you know, oh, Liam Neeson's life is boring, so like a train adventure is exactly it's exactly what he needs.
Midlife crisis, got to have a train adventure.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was the main thing that I wanted to talk about in the first phase of it, because then Vera Farmiga is that her name?
Yeah.
She shows up, and she's like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, we should talk about the bar scene, because that's important.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's important setup.
So Liam Neeson gets fired because money is evil, and
late stage capitalism.
And he goes to a bar and he meets his old partner from his cop days, Murph. His
last name was Murphy.
Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. Played by Patrick Wilson,
who is in everything. God, I can't get away from this dude. He is in everything. I swear, I've seen like 50 movies of his, and I can't even tell you the actor's name.
And he and Vera Farmiga aren't even in a scene together.
I know, that's crazy. Anyway, sorry. He's there, and you know, Michael, Liam Neeson's character, tells him, hey, I just got fired, I haven't told my wife yet. And he's like, oh man, you should definitely tell her. And we also get introduced to the captain of the police force that is there. I guess it's like a cop bar, and
he's Sam Neill.
Sam Neill, cue Jurassic Park theme. And they meet, and then he's like, oh, I'm late for my train. And he also tells Murphy, hey, I'm also having money troubles, which is important for later. And he gets on the train, and there's this sequence where, you know, he's talking to everyone. Liam Neeson is known on this train. He's a regular, right? And then she shows up, and she offers him $100,000 to find this person. And that was like, we saw that in the trailer, that scene, and it felt a lot more natural than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree. The trailer, the movie was better than the trailer made me think it was going to be. Mm-hmm. It still wasn't great, but yeah, the trailer was really awkward, and I was kind of like after I saw him, you know, getting fired and knowing all of his money troubles, I got why he would be curious and why he would take the money, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, I would just be like, crazy lady, get away from me. Like, right? I wouldn't even go check the bathroom.
But it seemed very, very natural. Like, they actually have a scene together. She doesn't just sit down and is like, hey, want to make $100,000?
Although that's not a terrible way to open a conversation.
Right.
If any of you ever want to ask me that, you can just walk up to me and ask me.
Patreon.com/ramblingcinephiles. Anyway. So she leaves, she gets off the train, and he goes into the bathroom to check to see if that $25,000 that she promised was there is actually there. And it is. And he's like, oh my God, this is real. I have to actually find this person. So he starts kind of getting into the mystery of it, like getting into the guess who aspect of it.
Did he before? Was he even trying to find the person, like, before he tried to get off the train?
No, I mean, he starts kind of looking around, and he talks to that ticket taker guy, and it's like, hey, I'm looking for a friend. He has a bag. I don't know what he looks like.
I thought that was...
And he's getting off at Cold Water.
But I thought
like
that was after I thought all that was after he tried to get off the train.
Well, he talks to him before he actually tries to get off the train and is threatened. And then he tries to get off the train and is threatened, and we discover that Vera Farmiga's character is not as nice as she would seem.
Surprise. There are many such surprises in this
quote
in this
unquote
movie.
surprise.
Crap, I just had it. Okay. So, basically, Coldwater is the last stop on the train. So, there's only a handful of people who Prin could be. So he uses like their ticket punches to figure out, you know, who the suspects are, and is kind of watching these people and trying to figure out who they are. How soon did you know who Prin was?
Not that soon.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't catch it at first.
I knew when. Okay, so there's this asshole guy who's like a stockbroker, and the girl who is sitting next to him on the train is Prin. And he's kind of an asshole, and she gets up and finds another seat. And Liam Neeson sees the ticket that's punched for Coldwater for her old seat and thinks that it's the stockbroker. And I even wrote down, like, no, dumbass. It's the girl you watched her get up.
Yeah.
But whatever. So, surprise, that's Prin.
I actually didn't catch that,
Oh,
so that's
okay.
not as much of a quote-unquote surprise
okay.
as some of the rest of the movie was to me. But yeah, it makes complete sense that she was Prin. The whole reason behind all of this happening is just ridiculous and just so stupid.
I have a question about okay, so there was also a running theme of books. Michael is always reading a different book on the train. It's always a different, like, classic book. And it's because he's reading the same books that his son has to read for school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all we know about Prin is that she goes by Prin, and then when he finds Prin at the end, and she's reading the Scarlet Letter, and he's like, oh, of course, Prin, because Prin's, you know, in the Scarlet Letter. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, is Prin her name? Was Prin a clue? Does she carry a copy of the Scarlet Letter ironically? What is this?
Yeah, like, who decided on the name Prin for her for being her, right?
Well, I guess that's her. I mean, is that her name?
No, that's not her name.
Oh.
Yeah, they say her name. I don't remember her name though.
Oh, okay.
But her name is not Prin. But that's how she's addressed.
And okay. And this was my whole problem with the entire movie, okay? If they have these kind of, like, surveillance powers where they can, like, tell Liam Neeson, like, exactly where to look out the train to see Mike Ehrmantraut get hit by a bus, then why can't they find Prin themselves? And if Prin was a clue because she carries around the Scarlet Letter, then why couldn't they tell the assassin, hey, find the girl who's carrying around the Scarlet Letter and shoot her in the face?
Jenny,
why did you need to get Liam Neeson involved in this?
I have a question about that, but it pertains to the very end.
Oh, okay.
Is it okay if I start talking about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So at the very end, Vera Farmiga is on a train, and Liam Neeson walks up and is like, "Hey, what are you reading?" And he's like, "Oh, hey, I finally found you. By the way, I'm a cop." And Vera Farmiga, and that's supposed to be very intimidating at the end. It's like, oh, he finally found her. She's caught. She's done for. And I'm just like, dude, she bribed all of those police officers. She set up this huge network of assassins to kill people and to get other police officers to kill people for ransom money. She blew up a fucking train. She's not afraid of you.
No,
you're
she's
one
not.
person. She's probably got all of those other cops that you've been talking to on her payroll.
And the DA if she's smart.
The DA and the judge. You're not taking her down.
You're not. Oh, and she was reading The Count of Monte Cristo, which is like a revenge novel.
I did not get any of the book themes. Like, I noticed that there were a lot of different books mentioned, but I didn't understand
the Count of Monte Cristo was definitely, I think, the most obvious one. The Lord of the Flies didn't really seem to be relevant to anything at all, because that was the first one he was reading. I've never read The Grapes of Wrath, so I can't tell you whether or not that was relevant. Wuthering Heights, while not relevant, gave me my first clue not to trust Patrick Wilson.
How?
Because Wuthering Heights, it didn't really have anything to do with Wuthering Heights, but Wuthering Heights is about this woman named Catherine, and she's in love with this like weirdo named Heathcliff, who's an asshole, but she marries this other guy who's like normal and safe. And then like she died. Nothing to do with the plot had anything to do with Wuthering Heights at all. But so like those were the only two named guys, and I was like, well, Liam Neeson seems to be the normie, so what's up with Patrick Wilson? So that was my first like instinct not to trust Patrick Wilson. And then I realized that the books didn't mean anything, and I was like, oh, well, maybe not.
I knew immediately as soon as, because by the way, spoilers, Murphy is evil and he's working for Vera Farmiga's. Does she have an actual name in the movie? Did you catch it?
I don't know. She probably doesn't tell anybody because she's smart.
No, she tells Liam Neeson her name. Joanna, that's it.
That's not a real name though.
No, it's a fake name. But anyway, Murphy is working for Joanna. He's getting paid off. And the entire reason why Liam Neeson is on the train with this person that they're hunting is because Murphy referred Liam Neeson's character to Joanna. And that's the entire reason any of the movie happens.
Yeah, they're probably the ones that got him fired somehow. They set the whole thing up.
Yeah, it's entirely that, And at the end, during the hostage situation, Murphy comes and he's trying to, negotiate with Liam Neeson, telling him, hey, I'm your friend, just tell me who this person is that they're hunting and I'll protect her. Obviously, I'm a good guy. But no, I knew way before then when Liam Neeson calls up Murphy on a phone and he's like, hey, I need you to go protect my family. And he tells him exactly what's happening on the train. And then after that, not soon after that, Joanna calls him back and plays him a recording of his family getting taken by these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that's too coincidental. And then right after Joanna calls him, Murphy calls him back.
See, I did not catch that because I did not absorb Murphy's name. And I was not, I wasn't sure if he, I thought maybe he was calling, the captain guy at first.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't catch that because I didn't realize who he was calling, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, then when did you know?
I knew as soon as the girl, as soon as Prin told him that a cop was the one who killed the guy that she saw get killed.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you can't see my notes, listener, but I wrote, oh, it's his friend.
Yeah, it was just way too coincidental for Murphy, for Liam Neeson to call Murphy, Joanna to call Liam Neeson back as soon as that happens, and then Murphy to call right after.
But see, okay, so the way that Liam Neeson figures out that it's Murphy. Oh, now I get to talk about the train. Can I be the one to talk about the train? I'm going to talk about the train.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are only a handful of passengers left. Liam Neeson needs them all in one place. So he pulls some fuses on the train and basically knocks out the AC in every car but the last one, thereby forcing everyone to get into the last car. So he starts telling everybody that, hey, I lost my job today and everything sucks and there's no point to everything. And hey, what if I told you that somebody on the train was was supposed to get murdered, and you can murder them for $100,000, and I already took that money. And, you know, at this point, I would be thinking, oh no, it's a 60-year-old unemployed white man. I'm gonna die.
He's gonna kill all of us.
And then, like, this guy who is, like, the assassin for Vera Farmiga or whatever, like, gets up and he walks out, and I'm supposed to think it's suspicious, but I didn't think it was suspicious because I'd walk out too. I'd be like, bye.
You know, I think I'm okay without the AC.
Yeah, I'm all right.
That sequence was probably another good part of the movie. His fight with that assassin.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
With the guitar assassin.
Yeah.
Like that camera work and that stunt work was just incredible. It was so good. It's almost worth watching this shitty movie just for that sequence because it's so good.
It was really good.
Liam Neeson, so they're fighting over a gun, and then Liam Neeson takes his only weapon that he can, the guitar that the guy was lugging around, and beats him with it, and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's Liam Neeson and the stunt coordinators and the camera work, just, they all shine in that. Mm-hmm. I was so excited, and then it ends, and then we have to go back to the movie.
Okay, so that's not the only... I'm going all over the place. So that's not the only fight that Liam Neeson gets in on the train. He fights with this other guy earlier for reasons, whatever. And I feel like no one was really remarking about the fact that Liam Neeson just kept... Because they're all on a train. He just keeps showing up looking more punched, and no one asks questions. No one's like, what the hell happened to you, guy?
His friend just saw him like 5 minutes ago, and he comes back with all of these cuts and bruises. And he doesn't ask a fucking thing.
No.
Like, all of these people see, like, this FBI guy. Well, it turns out he's an FBI agent. We don't know that when he's fighting Liam Neeson. But they're fighting in the back of the train car, and no one is noticing this somehow. They're beating each other against the wall. It's only when they fall out where everyone turns around and is like, oh, they're fighting, but no one Liam Neeson actually knows and is friends with on the train actually says anything about it.
Well, is he friends with anybody on the train?
He's acquaintances with some people, and that one guy Tommy, I think, lets him borrow his phone.
I think it's possible that that people wouldn't notice or would decide not to notice because we don't have much experience with public transportation.
That's true.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of don't look directly at it stuff going on. So I can maybe, or that maybe they were just tuned out, or maybe they were just like la la la, it's not in here. Not my problem.
Yeah, I think that's probably mostly what it was. Thing. Not my problem. I'm getting off at the next stop.
Okay, so there's this train. He's not the conductor. Or is he a conductor?
He's like a security guard.
Yeah, the train security guard. And earlier in the movie, he makes like a little quip, and he's like, "Ha ha! I've been here 20 years or whatever. If the train doesn't kill me, the people will." And I was like, what could happen to this character? So, Liam Neeson somehow, after, pulling a gun on an innocent girl, convinces the security guard to help him. So they're gonna stop the train. But Vera Farmiga's people have planted a bomb, and they blow up the brake or whatever for the train. So the train can't stop. So the train can't stop, and they're coming up on this curve, and they're going 70 miles an hour, and when they hit it, the train's gonna derail. And they can't brake at all. And so Liam Neeson's like, well, can we uncouple the train? Or can we uncouple this cart since everyone's in this car? So that's what they go to do. Which isn't a terrible idea, right? Because obviously you're still gonna be going, but hopefully you'll slow down enough that it won't derail, or maybe you just won't be as screwed. But it takes them the entire time to uncouple it. There's this whole high pressure, and surprise, the conductor, he gets killed by the train and he dies. So there's this whole high pressure thing where they're like, oh, we have to uncouple the train before it hits the curb. No, that is not how inertia works. It doesn't matter that you uncoupled it a half a second before you hit the curve, you were still going 70 miles an hour. You are dead.
To be fair, the train does actually crash.
It does. It does. But, thank God they uncoupled so they could just, skid away safely. What? Anyway.
In that entire sequence, the only person to actually get hurt on the train is the security guard guy on the train who dies.
Who is black. And also the assassin guy is also black.
Yeah, and the girl who's threatening him to stay on the train was also black.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Well, okay, that's not fair though. The two FBI agents who are waiting at the stop to actually take Prin and keep her safe. Those two guys were black. And they were good guys.
Okay.
So
that makes it all better.
I mean, I'm just saying that those weren't the only characters, is all I'm saying. There were more. Yeah, so he figures out it's Prin because he's like, oh, look, you're the Scarlet Letter and someone could have just killed you before. Anyway, I talked about that. And he's talking to her and she's describing what happened. She doesn't describe the cop, but she says that he said something about, told the guy something about being noble, like this doesn't make you noble or something like that, and then he killed him.
Well, there's this guy, in the beginning of the movie, we see a news report about a city planner who throws himself off a building, and it turns out that the witness to that is Prin, and it turns out that he did not throw himself off a building. A cop beat him and threw him off a building.
Yeah. Because
of money, because of conspiracy with Joanna, that kind of thing.
Because of whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, Murphy, gets to the car because somehow the cops know that Liam Neeson's holding everybody hostage. I wasn't really clear on that actually. Like, how do they know?
I wasn't entirely clear on that either.
How did they know that he would? Because literally because nobody. It's not like they knew he had done anything on the train beforehand, and then the train crashed, and suddenly the cops are there, and they're like, oh, come out, Liam Neeson, stop holding those people hostage. But, I didn't understand how the cops knew that.
Maybe someone on the train called about a suspicious person?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, they did, but that doesn't... Where do you leap from suspicious person to, hey, you specific ex-cop that we know, you are holding those people hostage in that train car?
Shrug.
That's a pretty big leap. But anyway, Murph comes into the train and says something in passing about being noble, and that's what tips Liam Neeson off. I was like, it's not anything else that's happened. It's not the phone call that Josh mentioned earlier. It's not you putting together that hey, your friend is a cop and your friend knows who you are, and maybe that's the connection between you and this case. But no, it's a word. It was a word, a random word that anybody could use.
It's the Martha moment.
Yes, it was the Martha. It was not nearly as
No.
It was not nearly as cringy as the Martha moment. But yeah, I was just like, really? That's what did it?
What was the quote?
I don't remember now.
Something about being an honorable man or something like that.
Was it?
Yeah, or a noble man.
Yeah, it was definitely noble. Noble was the word.
It was pretty. It was pretty stupid. The entire end of the movie was so fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to talk about it, honestly.
And I also wrote down the ending. Hang on. I wrote down the ending. So the Patrick Wilson has his gun and he's like, which one of you is Prin so I can shoot you? And everybody stood up and was like, I'm Prin. And I am Spartacus.
I wrote the exact fucking same thing. I swear to God.
I am Spartacus.
Here, hold this.
I knew they were gonna do it.
We knew it was coming immediately as soon as she said that.
Yep. And earlier before that, because like there was only one gun. Liam Neeson had a gun, and Patrick Wilson went in without one.
There you go.
And
I'm Spartacus. I wrote it, and so did Jenny. That's how obvious this movie was.
Yeah.
This movie is so oblivious to the fact that its twists are not twists.
Yeah.
Any audience member paying any kind of attention can see that Murphy is evil.
Yeah.
Can see that the train was going to derail and that the cops aren't on his side. And it was so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It was so dumb.
It was. And then the cops who had like thermal whatever on the train so they could watch the cop, so they could watch Patrick Wilson. And then Patrick Wilson and Liam Neeson struggle with the one gun. And like a few minutes earlier, I wrote, the cops are going to shoot Patrick Wilson because there's only one gun and they're going to think he's Liam Neeson. And that's how this is going to end. And guess how it ended?
That's how it ended.
Exactly like that. So yeah. And then his family just shows up because they brought his family there for some reason instead of having them wait at the police station like I assume you would normally.
And Liam Neeson walks away from this. He doesn't go to prison. He held up an entire train and he's not even questioned at a police station. What?
Well, I mean, he was a cop, so I assume he gets like special treatment.
Oh, that's actually probably true, but it's still ridiculous. You can't hold up a train and presumably be the one that crashes it because they don't know anything about Joanna, and then just walk away from this with your family joking about it at the end. It's so stupid.
It was such like it seemed like his family wasn't even worried about him.
They weren't.
Honestly, they were just like, "Oh, hey, Dad.
So this is what you do at work, huh?
Let's go home." And like that's basically the end of the movie until the little like epilogue where he shows up with Joanna. He's like, "Oh, hey, look, I'm a detective again. I randomly found you somehow. We haven't whatever."
It didn't really explain that at all.
I found you and you just showed up. I mean, I assumed that they were just gonna have Joanna like get away with it so they could try to like squeeze a sequel out of it if they wanted to.
That's exactly what I was thinking, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? It's much more interesting if she gets away with it. If she's just this mysterious figure that we only see a little of. Mm-hmm. Maybe we see her like walk away from the crash of the train and just smirking about it. I don't know.
Or maybe we just never see her again. Who cares?
Yeah, like you there's so many better ways to do it than that stupid ending.
Also,
by the way, he never tells his wife that he got fired. I just want to point that out.
He doesn't have to because he got his job with the police back.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't know that at the end. Like his wife and kid come up and is like, "Hey, Dad, how was work?" And he didn't say, "Oh, I got fired."
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, that probably wouldn't be the first thing I would say either. After all of that,
I'm just pointing out more inconsistencies with this film.
I don't think that's an inconsistency. I think he just figured it could wait. He could wait till tomorrow.
Probably.
This is just me being really nitpicky. Like they, at the end they when describing Joanna, it's like, you know, blonde woman in her late 30s, and I was like, Vera Farmiga is not in her 30s. I mean, she looks great, don't get me wrong, but she's not in her 30s.
I would say late 30s.
She's 44.
I mean, I can't tell the difference.
You can't. Oh, anyway, I thought she was at least 40.
I mean, she looks hot as fuck.
She looks really good.
Yeah, I would say late 30s if I had to choose.
Okay, well, never mind.
So yeah, this movie, Jenny, do you think that The Commuter is worth your time? Like, if you had to actually pay for a ticket, would you?
No. I would not say that it's worth the price of it. I mean, unless you get like a matinee, it might be worth the price of a matinee.
Maybe.
I mean, it's really like action filled, and it's not as much as we just like, you know, picked it apart, it was entertaining.
It was a popcorn movie.
Yeah,
right?
it was not bad by any means. It was just not like fantastic. I mean, it was definitely okay.
I feel like that this movie is not something that I would ever want to see in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it was streaming on Netflix, you know, hey, one night I'd probably watch it, but there was just no heart in the film. I didn't believe in any of the characters had any agency, and I just the movie didn't do anything new that other movies before it didn't do better.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, I would say that I would give it a pass if you're looking for a movie this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Commuter's probably not what you're looking for, unless you just want that action-packed popcorn flick.
Yeah. If that's what you're looking for, then yeah. Although, I mean, I would still say matinee, because, you know, regular theater prices are just too much. They're too much.
Too much.
But yeah, I would give it an okay. What rating would you give it?
I was leaning more towards like a 3 out of 5, but that one sequence where, you know, with the guitar fight,
Mm-hmm.
that pushes it over the edge to a 3.5, because I would love to go back and watch that scene just by itself again.
That was pretty cool.
So it gets a 3.5 for me.
Oh, maybe I was just confused. So he earlier, you know, he calls Murphy. He's like, "Hey, cop guys, go to the house." And the cops supposedly don't get to the house, and like Vera Farmiga's people take them or whatever. But at the end of the movie,
here, hold this.
At the end of the movie or near it,
back it up a little.
he finds out that the FBI arrested 3 men at his house, and I was trying to figure out how in the world the FBI knew to go to his house.
Again, shrug.
Why?
I have no idea.
Why were the FBI there? Because yes, the FBI was involved in the case with Prin, but they don't know anything about Liam Neeson. They don't know anything about his family. So like they wouldn't have known to go there on their own. The cops wouldn't have known to call the FBI, because you don't just call the FBI randomly. It's not like you're just like, "Oh, hey guys, can you swing by this house and check it out?" Like, you'd have to have a reason if you're the cops and you've got the FBI in on it. So what was the reason?
I have no idea. Like, there's I would say maybe Murphy would have called them, but that doesn't make any sense if he's evil. Maybe the cops that were looking for him on the train called the FBI about, you know, a suspicious person, but that doesn't ring true either.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, it could have been Murphy, because I mean, yes, he's bad, but you know, maybe he didn't want his friend's family to get killed. So maybe, like, after those guys went over, maybe he called in a tip, like, anonymously or something.
If he didn't want his friend's family to get killed, why did he put Liam Neeson in that situation where his family could get killed if he didn't comply?
I'm not saying he was a good guy or anything. I'm just saying that maybe he didn't want... Maybe he was willing to risk Liam Neeson, but he wasn't willing to risk, like a kid.
But he's willing to kill him. He's willing to kill Liam Neeson at the end.
Well, yeah, he's willing to kill. Yeah, he's willing to kill Liam Neeson.
I mean, I just don't see that. I don't see
that's the only
Murphy's character be caring about the family at all.
Maybe, I don't know. That's the only explanation that I can come up with that the FBI would know.
I have no idea.
Because again, that's the only like connection.
Okay, well, we want to thank you so much for listening to us ramble on about this. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up wherever you are. Subscribe to us wherever you are. We have a Twitter, which is
at Ramble Cinephile.
So follow us on there. We post about, you know, what we're going to see and movie news whenever it comes out, that kind of thing. We also have a Patreon if you want to drop us a couple bucks. Patreon.com/ramblingcinephiles. What else do you want to add to the ending?
We love you.
We also love you, by the way, dear listener. Thank you for sticking out with us, and we hope you have a great weekend.
Yep. Well, will it be the weekend still by the time they...
I'll probably post this.
This is our weekend.
We hope you have a great rest of the whatever. All right. Bye, folks.
Bye.